Hey everyone, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today, we're reviewing Arakawa Under the Bridge. Now, I'm going to start off by saying Arakawa Under the Bridge is a weird times 550,000 million 700,000 divide by 20 billion, which doesn't make sense because then you technically go into a negative number. Weird show. Just like that, and now, analogy I just made currently for that using horrible math. So yeah, Arakawa Under the Bridge is a weird show. That I have to say right off the bat. It is probably one of the strangest shows you'll ever see, and it's not because per se the story for it. It's because of the characters that's so weird. I mean, look at some of the characters right on there on screen. These are all supposed to be normal human beings. I'm just gonna say that right now. Besides two of them, most don't look normal whatsoever. We have a person with a star in his head. We have a nun that's actually similar to Black Lagoon in many ways. We have robots. We have one guy who dresses up as a turtle who claims he's an actual Kama. He's a god turtle. Yeah, this show's weird. Anyways, so we have our main character, Ko, who's actually a self-reliant type 22-year-old character who he's in business school. He's actually a very studious character. He really has always believed that you have to be self-reliant on yourself. You have to be strong. You have to be independent. And also, he learned from his father at a very early age to never really be indebted to someone else. He actually always has to pay his debts forward. And if he doesn't, he actually has asthma attacks, which is kind of funny in the show. He'll actually have these weird like aneurysms and weird movements all of a sudden if he can't pay someone's debt. Now, very early in the show, he actually is on his way home and falls into the river trying to catch something. And lo and behold, starts drowning because he's not really that good of a swimmer. Our main girl here, Nino, who's actually the girl to his left, the one with the blue jumpsuit, saves his life. Now, because again, he must pay his debts, he asks her, "What can I do to pay you back? You saved my life." She asks of him to fall in love with her and to be in love with her. That leaves him in a very particular situation when he then learns that she lives under a bridge in a small community that they build of a bunch of weirdos. Yeah, that's why Arakawa Under the Bridge is weird. So he ends up getting recruited into this place. He leaves his home, he leaves his school, he becomes a hobo, essentially by every definition of it. And what's ironic about it is that he's okay with this life. He starts hanging out with Nino, which has got a weird mannerisms of like jumping on street lights when she's nervous, and you have other characters who are like the star guy, the kami, who believe that they are like supreme beings on this area. They give him a nickname of Recruit or Rick, and he becomes this teacher for this actual little community of weird kind of homeless people slash vagabonds. Arakawa Under the Bridge is weird. It's a comedy show and a romance show put together, and I'll be honest with you, like the romance elements of it don't play a huge factor in it. Don't expect like a huge romance story. Expect more of a kind of comedy show with just a hint here and there of romance. Now, Arakawa Under the Bridge, when it does it right though, is it gets its characters right. I really do love all the cast of characters. As weird as they are, they're very unique. Like again, I'm not gonna spoil all their character plots, but for example, going back to the person who's dressed as a turtle, he is actually literally dressed as a turtle, but he's made in his mind that he's actually a god, and he actually tells people to respect him and bow down to him, and he's very odd when he goes around doing that. And ironically, he is one of the predominant characters of the show doing weird stuff. You have all these characters who are just so odd. Like, can I put that again onto paper and just say it a million times that they're so weird? The show is weird. It's a weird show. But, one thing I like about it, again, is the comedy's really good. The characters, again, are very unique and interesting. I like the art style for this. I actually think that the art style is very different for an anime, and I think that's cool. That's one of the things I respect about the show very strongly. It's about 26 episodes, I believe. I think the first season 13 episodes, and the second one's as well as 13 episodes also. It did conclude, I think, several years ago. I think it was maybe around 2012, I want to say, when it finished. Without looking it up, because I'm like thinking off the top of my head when it finished, but I think it was 2012. So it's not really relatively that old, so several years old now, but the animation is very good. Our art style wise is very good. I think that if there's like 10 years pass, this show would be like garbage compared to most other shows, but it's for what it is very unique and interesting. I like that. Sound quality wise, I like the voice acting. I like the characters. I really think that everyone has their voice that really matches them. There is only Japanese dub, so English subtitles only, but it's still very well done. It's still nothing that you're gonna really go, oh, I don't like the way the characters sound, or they don't really fit their characters. They actually really do sound pretty close to what they look like, which is interesting. And as the show goes, I mean, there's closure at the end of it per se. But it's not really meant to be a show that really has a conclusive plot with actual endings and with actual storytelling beyond the simplest stuff that happens. I mean, the most stuff you'll ever get from this is Rick's kind of advancement in his own personality. He goes from this kind of self-important type character to himself into this kind of character who now relies on others and wants to be more open with his feelings and emotions toward other characters. He really does fall for Nino at one point really strongly, and it's interesting how they work as a group together. I mean, again, it's not a big story about the romance, but it is there, and it's nice what they have for what they have. It's not really anything groundbreaking, but it's something nice. You'll enjoy it. It's, I want to say, weak at times. I want to say, like, I mean, even the romance elements that are done before are kind of weak a little bit. But again, I think this show is not trying to go for romance. I really think it's meant to be focused on comedy, just with, like I said earlier, and I said twice now, just that little subtle romance to kind of give it a little bit of structure, if that makes any sense. Overall, everything about the show is pretty good. I don't think it is going to win any awards. I really don't. I think it's an okay show overall. That's why if I had to review it A through F, I give it a C+. Arakawa Under the Bridge is not something you're to go and go, I'm going to remember this 20 years from now and want to buy it. It's one of those shows that you watch it once, you enjoy it for what it is, and you kind of forget about it. I mean, I had to actually go up online and look up some stuff again on certain characters and some of the story aspects, because I did slightly forget some of them over the course of the time. And for me, if I forget a show, that typically means that it's really easily forgettable, because I do remember a lot of shows. And I mean, that's why people always ask me about certain anime and stuff like that. I do typically remember almost every show I watched, but the problem is that any show that doesn't have any like impact, that strong memory that brings up like, oh, I remember exactly who this character is, exactly where he was, and what his character plot line was, is not that great of a show to me. So I just think that it's going to be one of those things you watch once and you just kind of forget it. But when you do watch it, you'll enjoy it wholeheartedly. You won't feel like you wasted your time. You'll enjoy the characters. You'll enjoy the comedy. Because trust me, I laughed. I remember laughing a whole bunch of times during this, especially during some of the earlier first episodes, and then toward the end of the first season. The second season is more or less the same as the first season, so your laughter will kind of be based on how much you like the first season. But it's not bad overall. I really did enjoy it. I think it's okay for a show like this. Anyways, guys, that's it for today's review. I hope you like it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Helps me out a lot. Click on my Twitter. Follow me on there to kind of get updates on when I release certain things and all that. Actually, I don't think I ever use my Twitter to actually tell people what I'm releasing. Maybe I should start doing that once in a while. Nah, I like having a surprise when I'm releasing. So you know what? Just follow me on Twitter just to know when I've updated something or uploaded something in general. Anyways, guys, as always, until our paths cross again next review, have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.